Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of the Dig. We've opened the scary door. Now it's time to go through. So we're gonna head through the scary door.
So much for the cafeteria idea.
Boston, are you there?
They use geometric shapes as a kind of combination for the locks.
Boston, you won't believe where I am. I'm in a place filled with alien technology, the most fantastic things I've ever seen. And the machines are working.
What are they doing?
I don't know yet. I mean, they're really alien. Like nothing I've seen before.
Don't go too fast, Maggie.
I'll be careful, Boston. But it's not like we have time to use correct scientific procedures to test these things.
Where are you? How can I get to you?
I wish I knew. It's a sure thing you can't get here the way I did. I slid through a low tunnel in the rock, and then it kind of got filled with debris when the roof collapsed.
You could have been killed.
Gee, I guess this isn't safe. But if we'd been together, whoever went through the crack second would definitely have been killed. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about coming to save me. I handled it just fine.
Yeah, I guess you did.
We're both doing okay, Boston. We'll find a way to connect up with each other when it matters.
Maggie, good work.
Thanks, Boston.
Alright, so Maggie found computers, I guess, and Lowe found a button, because, you know, that's what mission commanders need to find. They need to find buttons, because they can't handle full-fledged computers or screens and stuff, just buttons. Beep beep. You rang, magic. Now, what's really funny about these tramways is they have bothered me since the first time I ever saw them, because I've always thought to myself, how could you make something like this work? How could you make something like this work? And I know now that what you could do is you could put like an anti-grav pad in there, and that would work, but until then, all I ever thought that you could do was you'd be like a gerbil in a gerbil ball or something similar, you know? Where you're running along with the ball or something, I don't know. It's hilarious to me, because I always thought to myself, how can I make this work? How could this work? Ta-da! We have made it.
Now I know what my pet hamster felt like.
Exactly, see? That's what I was thinking to myself always, and maybe because Lowe said that, but honestly, that's what I always thought, which is like, yeah, I wonder if that's how it feel like a hamster, you know?
I need some help to pry this door open.
You mean you need leverage? Let's see if we can get him some leverage. Now, this is what I love about LucasArts.
I need some help to pry this door open.
Alright, so we use that, right? And so he was animated to use the shovel. Check this out. I love this so much.
I need some help to pry this door open.
So although we actually couldn't open the door with either of the objects, because they knew that anyone who knows about leverage would use the long, hard objects that they have in their inventory to try to pry the door open, would use all of them, they animated for both of them. And that is so awesome. There's no reason to believe... We have a ruined door here. No reason to believe you wouldn't animate for that.
Nothing could open this door.
See, I like that. Nothing could open this door, straight up. But yeah, for most of these, it'd be like, I need help to open this door, and then you try an object, and instead of animating it, they'd be like, no, you don't understand. You need help to open this door. But with LucasArts, they're like, no, let's just go ahead and animate it, you know, straight up. No questions asked, we'll just animate the silly thing. And they do, and it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. Okay, now here's the thing, okay? There's a fossil right here, and even with the brightest of bright screens, you can barely see it. But if you take a look at it, actually, you still can barely see it, but you can kind of see the way it's set up. But yeah, even with the brightest of bright screens, it's hard to see that. So that's actually kind of a puzzle hint right there, or a puzzle, not cure, a puzzle solution.
Plenty of water here. If it's drinkable, then we won't die right away. We'll have plenty of time to starve to death.
Hey, look, food! That is a big fish. So I guess we're going to exit, because it's better to do that than to stick around and get eaten. So there's a little bit of a demonstration of what will happen if you try to dive into the water, of course, or get close to it, or anything. You get crocogatored and they eat your face. So we're now going to head up. Ooh, beautiful lightning storms. So the planet does have diverse weather, which is actually considered very important to any planetary body to have diverse weather. If it doesn't have diverse weather, there's a high potential chance that no creatures can live on it.
Another ghost. The last one pointed the way down into the Nexus. Of course, that's how Brink died.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the ghosts are trying to murder you. It's not like they need new ghosts. One of us.
I can't open it.
Well, it didn't ask you to. Oh, yeah, it did. Alright, now I'm going to point this out because this always impresses me and always makes me giggle about LucasArts games. Because LucasArts always likes to put, the people at LucasArts always like to put Easter eggs. Look, teeny tiny Easter eggs in their games. And in the dig, it's one of the biggest Easter eggs you can find is right here on these control panels. Because if you take a look down here on this little schematic, you have the Millennium Falcon, very simplistic Millennium Falcon, a top-down view of what I assume to be a Star Destroyer, and then right here you have the LucasArts, little LucasArts symbol guy, who has a little thing above his head. And each of these has something similar to that, some similar image. And of course back then, when these games were first made, the only real movies and stuff they had to base their designs off of were the original ones, plus Indiana Jones, and that's it. So you really didn't have a lot of the new Star Wars stuff, but you had a lot of the old Star Wars stuff, so you get these little symbols, and I'll be pointing these out as we go along, at least the ones that I saw. Ooh, magic. Now that puzzle always got me because you have to hold the button down. I always hit the button like it was a press button, not a hold button, so I never understood how these things work for the longest time. So now we have this little bridge thing here. If we step on it. Bright light. So we're not going to walk into the light, not now. Only because I know where it goes and it doesn't go anywhere yet. So we're gonna meander and do other important things first.
A bunch of displays set into the walls. Inscriptions here and there. I'd say it looks like some kind of museum.
A museum, an archive, a library, a tablet. Let's take it.
Symbols written on a plate. Looks like an alphabet.
Alright, so we have an alphabet. I guess we can examine... I don't know if we can examine it up close or not. Oh, we can. Okay, so here again we have more of these symbols. Nothing really special. I don't think anything stands out, but it's got the pyramid eye up on top. I think that might be a TIE fighter there. A Star Destroyer looking thing. Half a Death Star maybe. Or R2-D2's head. And here's an AT-ST right here if you look at the foot, and then the leg, and then the top of the head, so it's an AT-ST in profile. And I suppose if you look around you might find one or two other very random items, but yeah. So it's supposed to be like an alphabet, but they got like Star Wars symbols and stuff in there all over the place. It's hilarious to me. And we have a little glowing green thing down here. Let's grab that.
Strange glowing crystals.
Excuse me, two glowing green things. And then from here we have some stuff we have to look at. So let's go ahead and head, let's see, that's a door. We're not going to use the door just yet, but I think if we go up here, there's something on top of this door right here, maybe? Can we walk this way? Yes, there is. There is a red engraved rod and...
Another one of these engravings on a stick.
Is that like a squirrel on a stick or a hot dog on a stick? You got a icon on a stick, so we have a display.
That canister sure packs a punch.
I do love picture displays, man. Picture displays make everything awesome. You're looking at that and you're like, okay, so if we find a canister like that, it can blow holes in mountains. Completely understood. Now, I like how Lowe just says, but that's pretty obvious. A skeleton with green goo from an egg-shaped item, possibly crystalline in nature, brings said creature back to life, or skeleton back to life, which means Brink and I have a meeting.
Could this be some sort of burial chamber?
See, it's interesting how Lowe will actually tell you the ones that you may not get on your own, but the one where it's like with the crystals, he's like, and that's it. Like, you have to figure it out yourself. Something about diminishing returns? In actuality, that's of course supposed to denote the crystalline ship that brought us here. It's supposed to bring aliens to them so that they can share their knowledge. Of course, the downside to that is we got here and there's no one to share their knowledge, so we're wondering why the crystalline ships were ever sent out in the first place.
Boston!
Maggie, I found you.
I wasn't aware that I was missing.
You know what I mean. I found a way to get where you are. Through the museum, back that way.
That's nice, Boston. If that's the museum, then I guess this is the library.
I found out how to open doors back in the Nexus. There's a tram that leads out here.
Look, Boston, I think it's great you're finding things out, but I'm trying to concentrate here. I feel like I'm so close to making sense of some of this stuff, and I just want to stay here and keep working. All right?
Sure, of course. Anyway, I know where to find you, and you know how to get out of here if you want to.
Thanks. Yes. When I learn something, I'll call you on the box, okay?
All right. All right, yes, I won't bug you anymore right now.
Oh, you know, it's like a mom chiding a child. Lowe comes in, he's like, Mom, look what I did, look what I did. I found a tram, and I found an archive, and I found all sorts of cool stuff, and she's like, look, Lowe, you're bugging Mommy, go away. And he's like, okay, Mommy, I'm sorry, I'll go away. It's really interesting, because now the roles are reversed. Before Brink, you know, or even before Brink died, it was like, when they were out of the spaceship, it's like, Lowe's in charge, Lowe's in charge, Lowe's in charge, don't question, don't comment, da-da-da-da-da-da. Then they land on the planet, and then Brink's like, well, maybe I want to be in charge. And then Brink dies, and then they end up here, and Maggie's like, now shut up and go away, you Cro-Magnon, you know? And Lowe's just like, well, you know, I'm figuring stuff out. I mean, the thing I touched only had one button, but I knew how to make it work. So it's really interesting. Now, we do have a tablet here, and I'm going to show it to Maggie now, but I'm not sure if it'll do us any good.
I found this in the museum. Can you read it?
It's not the same set of symbols I'm finding in the database here. I don't think it's designed for strangers to be able to read it.
Alright, so Maggie can't read it right now, and that's important. We'll see if we can have Maggie read it later. I could touch the consoles, but we're just going to let Maggie deal with it, because I think she'd get upset if we touched all her new toys. But we know where Maggie's at now, which means she's alive and well, and we can get to her anytime we need to. You know, but we're going to head back outside, because of course this is the last place we need to be. So pretty, look at that, it's pretty in the background. I know I'm not looking at the background so much, but you guys should absolutely look at the backgrounds, because those backgrounds are indeed so pretty, and they work so hard on me. Look at the lightning storms and everything, and then of course the big giant Saturn-like planet in the background. You can't get over that, and I love pixel art so much. Pixel art is so awesome. It is so hard. I mean, you guys see my intros and stuff and how simplistic they are. And that's just, I mean, those things only take me a few minutes, maybe an hour to make a full panel for an animation. And I do 3-panel animations, meaning that my animations occur in 3 panels. So for like a walking animation and stuff like that, that's just 3 images, right? And it's very basic changes in the animation to make it look, you know, pseudo-like it's moving. But for these smooth animations and great backgrounds, not this 3D stuff that you're seeing here, but for like the lightning storms in the back and those big, huge background vistas and things like that, the artists that worked on those, even back, especially back then when it was a lot harder, or the programs were more simplistic, it's awe-inspiring to know that they put that much work into it. And I know a lot of people are like, whatever, but I love it. And nowadays people are like, if it's not high definition, I don't even care. But I think it's the greatest thing ever. I think it's beautiful how they put so much effort and work into it. Ooh, speaking of which, check it out. Now, I will tell you, if you guys are interested in pixel art, 3 is the minimum number of what's the word I'm looking for? Of panels that you need to make an animation look like it's actually functioning. 2 just makes it look like it's going back and forth. 3 will give you a kind of a loop sensation. More, of course, makes it smoother, but it takes longer. Alright, so we have Brink here, and I think we'll talk to Brink maybe a little bit. See if Lowe has anything to say.
You could be irritating sometimes, but you sure didn't deserve to die.
Yeah, that's very true. But now we have these magical little glowing crystals here, and we're going to see if Brink use glowing crystals with Brink's body.
Who knows if this will even work? Even if these really are the same crystals I saw resurrecting an alien in that museum display. They weren't designed for humans, but it's worth a shot. Brink, are you okay?
I feel fine. What happened? I remember digging, and the ground gave way under me.
Brink, you've been dead for several hours.
You Americans, always exaggerating.
I assure you, Brink, no pulse, no breath, dead. But I found a couple of life crystals in a museum, and from a display there I got an idea of how to use them.
Where's the crystal? I have to see it.
I wasn't sure it would work on a human being.
Our cellular structures must be very similar. Boston, it didn't just bring me to life. It brought me to life. I feel more powerful, more energetic, more alive than I've ever felt before.
Maggie, do you read me?
Yes, I do. I hope this is important.
I think so. Brink isn't dead anymore, Maggie.
You have a very sick sense of humor. Goodbye.
No, wait, I'm serious.
Deadly serious.
Brink! I can't believe it.
It was a crystal I found in the museum. The display there showed it bringing someone back to life, so I tried it.
A crystal that heals the dead. If we ever get back home, this will change the world. It'll change everything.
It's not just being alive again, Maggie. I feel perfect. I feel like I never knew what good health was until today.
Now it's all the more important we find a way home.
It's always kind of important to me.
Keep exploring, Boston. I'll get back to work on the language.
You got it, Maggie.
Actually, in all fairness, the last thing we need on this planet is a crystal or anything that brings dead people back to life. Because if you think it's bad enough now with inflation and food and famine and shortages of water and space and everything else, imagine all the people who were once dead coming back to life, and then all the megalomaniacs and psychopaths who are dead and who come back to life. And, you know, anybody who dies and comes back to life, you don't want that. It's okay for people to be dead. It's okay for people to be dead. I'm okay with keeping most of them dead. Now, I am going to point out something here that you guys may not notice. It took me a while to notice it, and I'm going to throw it right out there in your face as a big spoiler. Take a look at Brink's color. Take a look at his outline and his pallor. Look at the lines that make up the darker areas of his body and the shadows and everything. If you notice, there's a slight green tint to them, and it's really awesome. Again, I was talking about pixel art a little bit ago. It's really awesome how they were able to do this, where they made it to where Brink is actually slightly green. Like, it's not really Brink so much as it's just green, you know? Brink is a green guy. Now, we only have one place that we can go to, and that's back the way we came, so we're going to actually head back that way. This part can get a little bit confusing, because if you don't know where you're going, or if you try to go someplace new, you can get really easily confused. But of course, the idea is that Brink did say to take him to the crystals, and of course Brink is with us right now. And there's only one place that I know that we need to go, and that is to So if you look at his colors right now, look at that. Look how gray he is. Look how it's like they made him as a pixelated character. They made him more pale, like actually a dead character. And it's really awesome that they did that. So as I say, we do have one place that we need to go, and of course that was where Lowe was like, I need help opening this door. And of course, now that we have a person to help us open that door, we got to take full advantage of that. Can't be letting that door stay shut forever. Yeah, so now you can see it now. Now that we're more in natural-ish light, you can see how Brink is gray. Like, his face is gray, even his clothes are gray. So it's like they put like just a...
Brink, would you give me a hand with this?
Sure.
I'm the strongest man alive. Of course I can help you. Yeah, it's like they put like an entire cover
On
of
three.
green over his body.
1, 2, 3.
Ta-da!
That was the longest visit from a ghost yet.
The whole display is centered on this basin. It's full of crystals. Are these the life crystals? Like the one you used to bring me back to life?
They look like it.
Then it couldn't be more clear. These life crystals are the reason they brought us to this world. They have found the secret of life, and they want to share.
Weren't you watching, Brink? I don't care what language you speak, that ghost shaped itself like a skull. It was warning us. These crystals are dangerous.
It was the symbol of death, Lowe. These crystals are the antidote for death. That's what it meant.
What if there are side effects? Did you think of that?
The side effect is that I feel better than I ever felt before. If you had used a life crystal on yourself, your mind would also be as clear as mine. And you'd see that there is nothing more important than getting these crystals and using them.
Brink, I think you're wrong. I think we need to be careful.
These aliens are kind and good, Commander. They have given us a gift.
Yeah? Well, if this is all so perfect, where are these aliens?
Maybe they've moved on to a higher plane of existence.
Or maybe they're all dead.
See how badly your brain is working. How could they be dead? They invented these life crystals. Commander, I feel sorry for you. Still tied down by an ordinary mind and ordinary fears. But I feel too good to want to argue with you. Believe what you want. I'm taking as many of these crystals as I can carry.
Well, I'm gonna take some for study back on Earth. I'm just not gonna use them.
But you will, Commander.
Now, I find something very interesting about this room. This room is extremely psychological. The whole thing, even the conversation, like how the alien shaped itself into a human skull.
Maybe I should take one more life crystal.
I think he says that every time. Yeah, okay, he doesn't. I'm going to be taking these while I talk because we need a few. We don't need them all, but just in case I screw up a couple of things. Now, the alien shaped itself as a human skull, which you have to ask yourself, how would the alien know what a human skull looks like? And even if it were able to scan like scan Brink or scan Lowe or scan Maggie and know what a human skull looks like, they would have to know that the symbolism of death comes from showing the skull. Now, you can say that any race of creatures would have a symbolism for death, and that would most likely be what death turns into. Like, we know that a skeleton is what you turn into when you're dead. But that's a fear side, not so much a scientific side. Because when you see a skeleton, you don't automatically think of death, depending on your views. But as a human race, we've grown beyond skull as death. Now, skull and crossbones is poison, death, that kind of thing. But you see a skull, and you're like, okay, a skull. Not so much, oh, a dead skull. But even beyond that, look at this room. Look at this room. You have the skin-like frame thing holding back the rocks, and then pushing through it are all these very, very, very jagged spikes that are just pointing right towards the center of the room. And that kind of, that without even realizing it, that can actually put like a very dark image in your head, because they're like spikes. They're spikes, and they're pointing at you, and it's scary because, you know, spikes poke you, spikes kill you, spikes do stuff like that. Any other room in this game, look at all the other rooms in this game. They're very inviting, very smooth, very architectural, very pretty. This skin and spikes and rocks and debris, and then this crystal thing here, and then the skull, and it's just very symbolic. This whole room is very, very, very symbolic, and actually very scary in that regard. As if the whole thing was put together specifically to be scary. And it's just, it's really interesting to me, and I really enjoy how well it's designed. It's really awesome in my opinion. So I think we have to head up to talk to Maggie again, and I'm doing the whole walking thing. I could do the skip walk thing. I'm debating on whether or not I want to skip screens or not. I kind of feel like I don't want to, but at the same time I kind of feel like I should. And it's kind of a 50-50. I'm kind of jumping around on a 50-50 for that one. I don't think we need... You know, I think we came a little bit too far. We'll bring Brink over here and see if he wants to talk to Maggie, but I don't think he does. He might. You never know.
Yes?
Alright, so it looks like Maggie just... Brink's alive, and what'd she say? Yes. Brink is right here. I wasn't joking. You didn't... You heard his voice. That's surprising number one. Surprising number two is seeing him in the flesh. He's like, he's standing right here in front of you. Like, ooh. It's really interesting to me that it's just like... Brink's right there. But again, that's one of those things. That's a psychological thing. You don't really have to deal with that in a video game, but that would be like the psychological thing. First you hear the voice and there's still that little niggling sensation of disbelief right there in the back of your mind that suggests that maybe I didn't hear his voice, maybe Lowe was screwing with me, maybe something else, but then you see him in the flesh, in person, touch, you know, see, smell, whatever, and they're right there and you're like, I think that yeah, I think that it's possible that he could be alive now. So we're gonna head back into the tram, and then from here we did pick up one more crystal rod. We did pick up that, so we're gonna have to find the door that crystal rod goes to. And I did forget about that, but I do remember that we needed to bring Brink here and have that ginormous conversation regarding whether or not aliens know what human skulls look like, or at least. The psychology of that room is just insane. It throws itself out there to suggest that this entire room, and everything contained in it is bad. Even if you didn't have that little blip of the skull thing, you would still have that feeling, that sensation that this is a bad room and we should not be in here. Spikes tend to do that. Which is really funny because if you watch the movie Event Horizon, that's a big thing in Event Horizon in the engine room. The engine room suggests very heavily of a spiky or dangerous nature that you want to avoid. And it's like, who designs a room like that on purpose, you know? Alright, so this is the door here. Now, these symbols will remain the same, unfortunately, so we have to cycle through them again. But these symbols will remain the same, but we do have a red rod here, which is triangle, triangle, green block, and square. So that's triangle. We have to go all the way around for this one. That's fun. So we want triangle, which is going to take us a little bit of time. Yeah, we have to cycle all the way around for these. So we want triangle, there it is. Same thing with this one. Well, not this one. We don't have to cycle all the way around for this one. This one should be fine. Triangle, green block. Now this one we're going to have to cycle through too. And green block is there. And then the blue square, again, we're going to have to cycle through that one. Now, the more you do this, of course, the less you have to do, because the more doors you find that open, the less you have to open later, which is just really, really wonderful. Square. Not this door. So we got the symbol right, but it was the wrong door, so our other alternative is to head back this way, which we're going to do. Now, we already have that door open. And then let's try this one. I think there's a door on our left as well. Alright, so this one should be a little bit, well, not so much easier now that we're starting with a flat red line. But that's okay, we'll do it. So we want triangle, triangle, green square, and, green block and square. So triangle. Actually, I kind of want to just do the green block. Let's just do the green block and get it out of the way. I'm feeling like I want to get stuff done, you know? After doing this, you're like, ah! So there's a green block. And there's a green triangle. We want a blue triangle. And I'm sure I never remember the order of the doors. If I were intelligent, I would just like memorize the order of the doors, but it never seems that important because you don't have to continuously reopen the doors. You open them once and then you're done. You're like, ah, okay, I'm done. All right, so that's the right symbol, but that's the wrong door. So let's go ahead and head this way, and here we have this one right here. So this should be the last openable door from this side. Yes, it is. So we want. Again, I'm going to do the green one first this time, just so it stops bugging me. Alright, and that is that one, right? And then we have to go back through triangle. So that means that we at least got all of our doors not figured out, but we should be able to... It becomes easier as you continue through, as you go through. It's just really, really, really bothersome the very first time. And it's one of the few things that is actually kind of annoying. I would say that if you were going to do a puzzle like this, once would be good, but multiple times, but it's just kind of a pain. There it is. And of course there's Brink, who asks absolutely nothing about the door opening. Alright. And I think the button we're looking for is over here. There it'd be. It's really hard to see, but it's that little button right there. Kind of up high, really, when you think about it. In comparison to the last button.
The other trams came as soon as I called them. Maybe there are some controls somewhere.
Alright, so this tram is broken. Am I missing something? I have to remember if I'm missing something. I have a little bit of trouble with this puzzle because I always forget how to do it. Not because it's hard, but because I always forget if I have all the components necessary to complete the puzzle. That's my biggest problem. Is I'm like, do I have all the components necessary to complete this puzzle? And I think I do, but at the same time, I don't think I do. So there should be 2 open doors, right? And then we have the big the column in the middle, and then that column there. So I have to remember all the puzzle bits. But luckily for you, I don't have to remember them on camera because it has become time once again. So now that we have Brink on our side, we kind of have an escort quest slash, you know, help. But who knows how long that's gonna last? He may run off with Maggie like he always, like she did it, like right at the beginning. But for now, I'd like to go ahead and thank you all very much for joining me, 4KB Short, on this Let's Play of The Dig, and I will see you next video.